every evening at lighting up o'clock sharp, and until further notice, in finished playhouse, the Mime of Mick and the Maggies adopted from the Balmone blood-ridden murder by Blue Chain Black Dylan of Away's Big Story, featuring just myself, with a few introductory words as a disclaimer. Now, the fact is that I'm not used to speak English, so I hope that my language and my pronunciation won't be too rude for your taste. And prologue like your humble patience, pray gently to hear, kindly to judge our play. The Mime of Mick and the Maggies, as you certainly know, is centered around a children's game called Angels and Devils, or Colors. In our specific case, Glug, Nick, the devil, has to guess the color of his underpants, which is heliotrope, a brilliant pink-purple tint. Glug is allowed 3 attempts. Each time he gives 3 tentative answers. Now, no matter how hard he tries to set Glug on the right track, he does not seem to get signals. So, according to the common view, he gives 9 wrong answers. Is it really so? Paradoxical as it may seem, and contradicting apparently what Joyce himself wrote in a letter to Harriet Shaw Weaver. As far as I have written, he has come twice and been twice baffled. I maintain that Glug gave every time the right answer, so a total of 9 right answers. Let's see why. First of all, we must point out that Glug, in his guesses, does never refer to a specific color, as one would logically expect. He refers always to objects, material objects. For example, he does not say red, but coral pearl. Why? Because he's an artist, a matter-of-fact artist who describes things in the reality of their concreteness, not as they are elaborated by a philosophical mind. For example, in the famous Pedrock and Buckley chat, Book 4, Chapter 17, the learned archdruid Bulkley gives a scientifically articulated lectures on colors and their phenomenology. Patrick, the petty padre, points with his finger to the rainbow. As simple as that. For Glug, there are no abstract colors, they are constituent parts of the material world around us, and probably Joyce wanted to give a knowing wink at T.S. Eliot and his objective correlative. As a matter of fact, Eliot is evoked frequently in the course of the whole episode through side hints, the most evident being the presence of his name in the very word heliotrope. In conclusion, to specify a color, Glug does make use of an object with its specific tint, but in doing so he uses that object as an index, as a metaphor, as a rhetorical figure, as a trope. So, having caught the trope by the tail, let's see how we reach the sun, Helios. An attentive look at the 3 riddles will let us find in them linguistic, semantic, and symbolic references to radiance and sun, Helios. Let's start with the first one. Have you mown brimstone? We have brimstone, sulfur, hell. Or Hellfeuerstein. We have or French gold, radiance, sun, Helios. We have hell, English hell, German bright. We have the fire, German Feuer of hell. We have demons, Van Demons, hell. We have three hellish characters, hellish, Helios. Then the second guess. Haps the Jonofugs, haps the Mejontis, haps the precocious Nancy Bellies. As many have already pointed out, all the three items have yellowish connotations. The French jaune in Jonofugs, jaundice in Mejontis, and the yellow hinted at by Joyce in his letter to Vito Svevo when he refers to a rubber band having the color of a nun's belly. This is a point which has given vent to many contradictory interpretations, so I am so bold as to add mine own. Nuns wear robes. Robe is Indian sari. Sari is Turkish yellow. Quod erat demonstrandum. Now let us proceed to our third guess. Come into the garner more, thine eyes stores a morning, buy me a bunch of iodines. The common interpretation is that in this case Glag's guess is referring to the color violet, that of mauve and iodine. Is it really so? Or is it only that? Let us give it a closer look. Come into the garner mauve. We know that this line recalls Lord Tennyson's poem, Come into the garden mauve, for the black bat night has flown, the night has gone, so the sun is rising, and garner is granary, and grain is closely linked to the sun. Helios. Thine eyes are stores of morning, thine eyes are stars of morning. We have the light of the morning and the radiance of the stars, abundance of light, and the morning star, Sirius, announces the dawning sun. So again, light and sun, Helios. Buy me a bunch of iodines. Iodine is a chemical element, a halogen, Helios, and iodines are quartz iodine lamps. So a bunch of halogen lamps, the halo, a solar image. Our last but not least, Helios true. But the Maggies and Issy as well, with all their colors, they are in fact the rainbow girls, are not able to grasp the objective colored vision of the artist. Hence come their no's to Glag's guesses. He luceat tenebras, out of light into darkness. Una more control to drink with on, eh? With the famous yell of the resurrected Finnegan, let us leave this waste land and proceed with our coming forth by day. Allow me to anticipate the wild conclusion I reached while giving a closer look at Issy. I am a notorious far-fetchedist. Those we have been talking about are neither guesses nor riddles. It is not Glag who has to guess the color of Issy's underpants, namely what is hidden under her skirt. Quite the contrary. Glag acts as an inquisitor who poses questions to Issy in order to understand whether she has reached the psychological maturity that will allow her to show openly what is hidden under her skirt, namely her sexual urges. Now, this means to turn the tale upside down, a literary Kama Sutra, and to upset to a further degree the Russian general interpretations. So let us give a closer look at the alleged riddles, in fact, Glag's questions, and are riddles. Have you moon brimstone? Moonbeam, moonstone. References to the chaste moon. Brimstone is sulphur, with all its devilish connotations. So, you who are a chaste maid, moon, do you recognize the devilish brimstone that you have inside yourself? Mon, mine, my sulphur? No? Or hell Feuerstein, or French gold, hell, German bright, Feuerstein, German flint. Are you ready to recognize that you possess the diabolical hell, flint, Feuerstein that will produce sparks that will set your sulphur on fire? No? Or Van Diemen's coral pearl, are you ready to let the jewel inside your oyster, your white pearl, become an evil Van Diemen demon, deflowered, bloody coral pearl, which is the result of the morphing of the chaste moonstone into a sinful blood stone, also known as heliotrope? No! That is a defeat for Glag, like the defeat of the devil told by Marie, the pure virgin, the white pearl Mary, Corelli Coral, in her famous novel The Sorrows of Satan, that Joyce knew quite well. And that is also a denial of the alchemical wedding of Sol and Luna, where sulphur, brimstone, is the sun, Sol, moonstone is the silvery Luna, and Hellfeuerstein, the alchemical salt, which in fact triggers the coupling of Sol and Luna, the result of which is the rabies, the union of Sol, red coral, and Luna, white pearl, into a coral pearl. No way, she is not ready to recognize her innate but so far restrained sexual urges. 3 satanic questions, 3 angelic denials. So the annoyed Glag leaves her at her destiny. But the necessary time having elapsed, Issy sends him a message letting him understand that she is ready. I'll wail for you, so do her lint. The poetess, and around its sculptured cap she has twilled a twine of flame to let the latest know she is married. Having decoded the meaning of the letter, Glag runs to Issy, filled with hopes and expectations. Now a run for his money, now a dash to her door. He runs to cash in, but the context allows us to read money as Triestine Mona pussy, so he goes pussywards. Alvai Mona, as they say in Trieste, which is a very common way to fuck off someone. And if we accept Edmund Epstein's suggestion that dash is penis and dot is vulva, in the dashes and dots are there more sification, we can figure out lively fragments of an amorous discourse. But let us watch our Glag, who poses a second series of questions to test Issy's determination. Perhaps the Joan of Arc? Do you really want to be like the Virgin Joan of Arc? The Jungfrau von Orleans? No? Perhaps the Gentil? Do you really want to be a gentil, French kind, German kind little child who abstains from sex, mais gentil French jeûner to fast? Do you really want to keep living in abstinence? No, perhaps the percocious Nancy Bellis? Do you by chance, Italian per caso, inflict pains, Italian percosse, to your womb, treating it like the not-so-lovely Nancy Bell pussy of a nun, instead of using it for a nuance of the belly, a belly dance? So lovely, si belle, and so charming, si belle. No? So it seems that now her nose morphed into 3 nose. Finally she has recognized her sexuality. But is she aware of the hidden implications? Perhaps the Jennifer? Are you ready to become an adulteress Jennifer Guinevere, who cheated on her husband King Arthur in her love affair with a valiant Lancelot? No? Perhaps the Merchanty? Are you ready to be called Merchant, French bad woman, whore? No? Well, since we are talking about bellies, have you the guts to risk the wreck of your reputation in front of the world and of its moral laws? I can hear your objections. What has this to do with Nancy Bellis? In fact, it has to do with it if we remember a sea ballad by W.S. Gilbert, the one of the Gilbert and Sullivan team, The Yarn of the Nancy Bell, which tells about the wreck of a brig, the Nancy Bell, and its ghastly consequences. And we find nuns, 5 of them to be precise, drowned in the wreck of a German ship, as narrated by Gerard Manley Hopkins in his famous poem The Wreck of the Deutschland. So, Issy, tell us, have you the guts to risk the wreck of your reputation? What else? Although she has recognized the legitimacy of her sexual urges, she is not yet in a position to infringe, to wreck the moral laws and the conveniences of the conformist society with a big ass she lives in. Glag is really mad at her, but most of all at himself. Why the hell does he keep trying with his idle questions? Husky. He puts sashes on his head, insults himself. Go on, me caco, get ping and pong and ping. A cartoon. But we are in a children's game, are we not?
Sir, yes, sir!
So Glag once again flies away. But he is not the one who gives up so easily, and eventually he decides to try once again Issy's will, like the devil did in his 3 temptations of Christ. Post reintroducing Jeremy the chaste not Coulter, the unchaste, chaste, not intellectual Italian colto, well read, who does make use of his subtle means of seduction. Come into the garner, move thine eyes stores of morning, buy me a bunch of iodines. Let us consider each line separately. Come into the garner, move. It is an invitation to re-enter the cursed garden, the Garden of Eden, which is mauvais French, bad, vicious, and maudit, blasted, damned. Let's not forget that this line recalls Tennyson's poem Come into the Garden Mode, for the black bat night has flown. So it is an invitation to Eve to commit again the original sin. Thine eyes are stores of morning. Behind the exquisite and flattering compliment, there is an invitation to stare at and to store the image of Glag, Lucifer. Lucifer, he who brings light, Lucifer, the morning star, which is the planet Venus, and the star Sirius as well, the star that represents the Egyptian goddess Isis. The star that announces the dawning of the sun in his form of Khepri, Egyptian scarab, but Italian capro, he-goat, the sun that in his night journey through the netherworld is portrayed as a ram-headed god, ram-horned, as the devil is. Buy me a bunch of iodine. As I already pointed out, iodine is a chemical element, a halogen, that, vaporized, becomes mauve or violet. In 1933, so Joyce might have known about it from scientific articles, its use was proposed to be patented for the making of iodine halogen lamps that produce a light of a high luminous efficacy. So, Issy, take your seat on the bench of claritas. Are you ready for the vision? Can you buy the light I bring? Can you stand by me, so bright hell and so shining? No, she cannot, as the next lines tell us. Évidemment, he has failed as stealthily as that years before, for she is wearing none of the three. She keeps thinking and marching along that theory of colors. She does not want to face the basic questions, none of the three. She removes them. She shuns light, vorrei and non vorrei. Although she has accepted the idea of her sexuality, she is not yet in a position to get rid of all the emotional conditionings of moralism and religion. She must pass first through the initiation rite of the night lesson, chapter 10, and wait for the physical decay of her father, chapter 11, before giving free rein to her desires and fall into Tristan's arms. I can hear someone protest and reassert that Joyce has been quite explicit in his letter to Miss Weaver when he said that Glag has been twice baffled. True, but he is baffled. Not because he failed to give the expected answers, but because Issy and the Maggies as well refuse to understand his language. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and the time has come for my exit, like the poor player that struts and frets his hair upon the stage, and then he's heard no more.
That's the matter with the blow, you're gonna shame. But in the truth they told you lots of bull that Finnegans away.